Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today we're putting our artist spotlight on someone who's making some serious waves in the creative world. Her name is Morgan Mikenas.
Oh yeah,
And
Morgan Mikenas, yeah.
You might not know the name just yet, but
Not yet.
trust me,
Yeah,
you're going to want to keep an eye and an ear out for her.
definitely. Keep both of those open for sure. What's so interesting about Morgan is that she's not just a musician or just a visual artist. She kind of does it all. A painter, composer, songwriter, even a movement instructor.
Yeah, our research team was blown away by just how much she does. But here's the thing. It's not like she's just dabbling in all these different things. It's more like she's woven them all together into this incredible multi-dimensional tapestry of art.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It is. And what I find fascinating is how she uses all these different mediums, all these different ways of creating to really explore and express her own personal experiences. You know, it's like she's taking these raw emotions, the things that we all go through, and like channeling them into something so powerful and positive.
Absolutely. You can totally see that in her music. It's all very personal, very much drawn from her own struggles and triumphs. And I think that's what makes it so relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've all been through tough times.
Yeah.
And to hear someone turn that into art is inspiring.
Absolutely inspiring. And, you know, speaking of inspiration, one of the things that really struck me about Morgan's work is this amazing connection between her music and her visual art.
Right.
Apparently, all her designs, paintings, sculptures, anything you can think of, they actually originate from her musical compositions and her lyrics.
Wait, seriously? That's wild. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it, right? Like music and art are both forms of expression.
Right.
But to see that link so clearly is really special.
It's kind of a mind blower.
I'm dying to know how she actually does that. Like, does she listen to a melody and just like see colors or something?
Right.
How does that work?
That's a great question, and one we might want to explore a little bit later. But first, we should mention that Morgan has a new single dropping soon. It's called Sincerely, and it's set to release on March 14th, 2025.
Ooh, mark your calendars, everyone.
Uh-huh.
Based on what we've seen so far, I have a feeling Sincerely is going to be packed with that same raw emotion and empowering energy that Morgan brings to everything she does.
For sure. It's definitely going to be one to watch. And, you know, it's not just about creating beautiful art for Morgan.
Right.
She's also incredibly passionate about empowering others to kind of tap into their own creativity.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can see that just in the range of classes and courses that she offers. Everything from voice work and songwriting to artist development and even one-on-one coaching. It's like she's saying, hey, I'm figuring this creative thing out and you can too.
Exactly. And then there's this really unique movement program that she teaches called the MMM method.
Okay, tell me more about this MMM method, because I know a lot of our listeners are really into exploring different ways to move and connect with their bodies. So what's the deal with MMM?
Well, from what I understand, MMM stands for mindfulness, mobility, and joy. It's all about building energy through coordination and cardio and finding that freedom in your body. But it's not just about the physical movement. There's a big mental and emotional component to it as well.
Oh, wow. So it's kind of like a holistic approach to movement and self-discovery then.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And the way she blends these ancient practices like Qigong, which focuses on cultivating your internal energy, with these more modern dance styles like hip hop and house. It's just super interesting.
Wait, hold on. Qigong and hip hop. Now that's a combination I never expected.
Right.
I'd love to hear more about how those two things work together.
Me too. It sounds like such a cool fusion of these traditional and contemporary movement philosophies, but maybe we can dive into that a little bit later.
Sounds good to me. You know, for someone who's so clearly busy creating and teaching, Morgan seems to have found this amazing balance between all these different aspects of her artistic life. It's really inspiring, to say the least.
It really is. And I think it speaks to her overall message of empowerment, you know, showing people that you can pursue your passions, embrace your individuality, and create something truly unique and meaningful in the process.
Yeah, it really is. Makes you kind of wonder if that's like part of what draws people to her classes and workshops. Like that idea that you can integrate all these different aspects of yourself, you know, like the creative and the physical and the emotional, and express them in a way that just feels authentic and empowering.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's like she's showing people that creativity isn't just about like painting a picture or writing a song. It's about tapping into that inner wellspring of energy and letting it flow out into the world in whatever way feels right for you. Absolutely. And it's about breaking down those barriers, those artificial barriers we often create between like different forms of expression. Like why can't Qigong and hip-hop coexist? Why can't music inspire a painting?
Right.
Morgan's work really challenges those assumptions and shows us that the possibilities are limitless.
So,
yeah.
Okay, let's get back to this fascinating connection between Morgan's music and visual art.
Yes.
I'm still so curious about how that works in practice.
Yeah.
Do you have any insights into her process from,
Well, our research team found a quote from Morgan where she describes her visual art as a visual representation of the frequencies and emotions embedded within the music.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like?
She talks about how different musical notes and rhythms, they actually evoke certain colors and shapes and textures in her mind. It's like she's translating the language of music into like a visual language.
It's so cool. Imagine being able to see music like that.
Yeah, I know.
That's a whole other level.
It's almost synesthetic in a way. And what's really interesting is that she doesn't just create these visuals for herself. She incorporates them into her live performances and music videos.
Wow.
Creating this immersive, multi-sensory experience for her audience.
So it's not just about listening to the music. It's about like seeing it, feeling it, experiencing it on a whole other level.
Exactly. And that brings us back to her upcoming single, Sincerely, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see how she brings that visual element into play with this new track.
Me too.
Yeah.
I bet the visuals are going to be stunning. Okay, so we've talked about her music, her visual art. There's an incredible link between the two. And we even touched upon her passion for teaching and empowerment. But we haven't really delved into the specifics of the MMM movement method yet.
You're right. You're right.
It's definitely time to give this unique movement program the attention it deserves.
It is.
I think a lot of our listeners would love to hear more about how MMM combines those ancient practices like Qigong with more contemporary dance forms.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of the things that really sets MMM apart from other movement programs is this emphasis on cultivating internal energy, or Qi, as it's known in Qigong.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. But for those of us who aren't familiar with Qigong, can you explain what that actually means?
Sure. Qigong is this ancient Chinese practice that involves coordinating your breath, movement, and meditation to cultivate and balance your internal energy.
Okay.
It's believed to have just tons of health benefits, including reducing stress, improving circulation, and just like enhancing your overall well-being.
That sounds incredible, but how does Qigong fit into a dance class?
That's the genius of Morgan's approach.
Right.
She seamlessly integrates those Qigong principles and exercises into the dance routines, using them as a foundation for building strength, flexibility, and coordination.
So you're not just dancing, you're also working on your like internal energy flow at the same time.
That's it. And that's where the hip-hop, the house, and the Latin influences come in.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. How does she blend those like seemingly disparate styles together?
So she uses those more contemporary dance styles as a way to explore freedom of movement and expression. So you might have a Qigong-inspired warm-up that focuses on grounding and centering,
right,
followed by like a high-energy hip-hop routine that gets your heart pumping and your body moving in totally new ways.
Wow, that sounds like an amazing workout for both your body and your mind. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier.
It does.
About breaking down barriers between different forms of movement and expression.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the biggest takeaways from MMM.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where ancient wisdom meets modern movement, where internal energy cultivation meets external expression, and where personal growth meets collective joy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You know, it makes me think about how often we limit ourselves creatively, whether it's in the way we move, the way we make art, or even just the way we think. But Morgan's work is this really great reminder that we can break free from those limitations and create something truly unique and authentic.
100%. And that's a message that I think resonates with everyone, regardless of their background or experience.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to tap into their full creative potential and express themselves more fully in the world?
I know I would. I'm starting to feel inspired to try out some Qigong and maybe even take a hip-hop class. What about you?
You know, I think I might just do that. Now, speaking of inspiration, have you heard any snippets from her upcoming single yet?
I haven't.
Okay.
But I'm ready to hear what she's come up with.
Yeah.
Knowing Morgan, it's going to be something special. I have a feeling, sincerely, it's going to be huge, yeah. You know, it's really cool that you can already see, like, her dedication to empowering others.
Yeah.
just from like looking at her website?
Oh, absolutely. It's so clear that she's not just about creating art for herself, you know? She really wants to share her knowledge and inspire others to embrace their own creativity.
Right. And she makes it so accessible.
Yeah.
Like she offers all these different classes and courses like voice work and songwriting and artist development, even one-on-one coaching. There's literally something there for everyone.
There is.
No matter what your skill level or interest is.
Exactly. And I think that's what I find so admirable about her whole approach. It's all about inclusivity and encouragement. It's like she's saying, hey, we all have this creative spark within us. Let's explore it together.
I love that.
Yeah.
It really ties into this whole bigger theme of self-discovery that runs through all her work. And, it makes me think about how much pressure we put on ourselves to be perfect or to fit into some predefined box.
Right.
But Morgan's work is all about breaking free from those limitations and celebrating our unique individuality.
Absolutely. She encourages you to embrace your imperfections, experiment, play, and just find joy in the process of creating.
And that message of joy is so important.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world. It's easy to get caught up in all the hustle and bustle and forget to take time for ourselves to really nurture our creative spirits.
Yeah, it's so true. But Morgan reminds us that creativity isn't just about producing something tangible. It's also about connecting with ourselves on a deeper level and finding that joy in the simple act of expressing who we are.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Morgan Mikenas is truly an inspiration, showing us the power of art to heal, to empower, and to connect us all.
I completely agree. She's a shining example of what's possible when we embrace our creativity and use it to make the world a more beautiful and joyful place.
So to our listeners who are feeling inspired, be sure to check out Morgan's work on all streaming platforms. Her new single, Sincerely, drops on March 14th, 2025.
Mark your calendars.
And I have a feeling it's going to be really special. And don't forget to visit her website to learn more about her classes and her courses and upcoming events. You never know, you might discover a hidden talent or a passion that you never even knew you had.
Did you just make...
This episode of Behind the Rhythm was brought to you by Ed Taylor for the Bayplay Radio and Sonic Gumbo Radio Network. Thank you for joining us for this Artist Spotlight. Be sure to explore more from our guest Morgan Mikenas on all streaming platforms. As always, have fun, be kind, and be well. Please come back again for another exciting episode. Until next time, we're out.